Hello and welcome to day one of the 2024 Halloween Craft Countdown, where I'll be sharing 20 Halloween paper crafts that you can make with a Cricut machine over the next 20 days. We're starting off with this adorable little bookshelf design with some cute little ghosts hiding amongst all of the scary stories. Now, I have a feeling this project might divide some opinion because I've chosen to do it all in pastel colours for a bit of a kind of cute Halloween effect rather than the more traditional colours. So this is how the design will load in with these colours, but don't worry, I will show you how you can change it up for if you prefer something a little more traditional. But before we can do that, we need to grab the SVG file, so here is how to find it. The files for this project are free for the next 24 hours. Here's how to download them. Register a free ticket for the Halloween Craft Countdown at craftwithsarah.com/HCC24. After registering, you'll get an email which contains a link to the schedule page for the countdown. Visit the schedule page to find and download today's files. Each download is only available for free for 24 hours after it goes live. If you've missed some, check out the Instant Access Bundle at craftwithsarah.com/HCC24 bundle, which gives immediate and ongoing access to all of the files from the Halloween Craft Countdown, plus loads of extra bonus designs. The download comes in a zip folder. You will need to unzip this before uploading the SVG files into Cricut Design Space. Here is how the little ghost library design loads into Cricut Design Space. If you're not sure how to get to this stage, check out the schedule page for the Halloween Craft Countdown and then look in the box near the top of the page that says Foundation Learning as the heading. Within there are lots of links to other tutorials that may be helpful throughout this countdown, and one of the ones that appears near the start of the list is for how to upload SVG files into Cricut Design Space. So if you're not sure how to go from downloading the file to the point I'm at now with the design loaded on my screen, check out that tutorial first. This design loads in ready to cut. It's at a great size, which is 7 inches wide, but you can resize it if you want to. If you're going to frame this design, again, check that Foundation Learning section because there's a separate tutorial in there on how to perfectly size your designs to fit inside your frame. To resize, make sure the padlock icon at the top of the width and the height box is closed. If yours is open, you can click it to close it. And then you can type either the width or the height, press enter on your keyboard, and the other measurement will change in proportion, so everything stays looking beautiful. However, I'm going to cut mine exactly as it loads in, so let's just undo that size. Now this design is nice because it's not loads of teeny tiny little pieces to stick on to make up all of these pictures. Instead, if we click the arrow next to the layers panel to separate out all the pieces, you can see that it's actually made up of all these different big shapes which will be glued together to create the different pictures. So it's really easy and simple, quick to cut because there's no really intricate patterns, and simple to stick. So the perfect project for day one of the countdown. Now I will be doing this exactly in these colours, but I said I would show you how to make it a little more traditional. So let's have a look in this copied version. I'll open up the layers and let's see what we can change. Straight off the bat, we can choose the pastel yellow. I've clicked the candle flame in there, and we can make that a bit more of a darker yellow, and also change the other yellow to match. And then that pink is going to have to go if we're going more traditional Halloween. So let's click the pink layer and maybe do an orange instead. That's fairly similar to the yellow. You can click advanced to kind of change up and get a few more options. I'm only kind of vaguely choosing the colours that I think would look nice with the cardstock. It's not exact colours that match specific brands of cardstock or anything like that. I'm just mocking it up on the screen so that I get a rough idea of how it will look. I think the purple could also be more Halloween-y if it was a bit more of a darker colour. And then what else have we got? Not sure blue is a traditional Halloween colour, but we could go for a deep green and then maybe change the tealy colour to perhaps a lime green. Let's have a look. There. Oh, and of course the frame. We'll go traditional bookshelf with a brown, darker brown. That's not a nice brown. Being fussy now. There we go. And now we can't quite see the bat in there. So let's change that colour to the yellow. And there we go. It's exactly the same design, but now with a few little changes, it's got a completely different vibe to it. So if you're not up for the cutesy pastel colours, absolutely just take a couple of minutes and change the colours in Design Space and you can get something much more traditional. But I'm going to say goodbye to this one and delete it and cut this one out. So I'll click on Make at the top to separate out all the colours, and then you can change the paper size if you want to in here. There's not a lot to do on this screen because it all cuts in one piece for each colour. The only exception is this yellow bit where you've got the little flame, so make sure when it's cutting you don't accidentally throw that away. When you're happy with how everything's looking in Design Space, press Continue down on the bottom right to connect to your Cricut machine, get all the pieces cut from cardstock, and then we'll see how to put it all together. Here's my little ghostly library all cut out from my cardstock. I've laid the pieces one on top of the other just to check that I'm happy with the colours and that I haven't missed anything along the way. But to stick it together, we'll need to start at the bottom and work our way upwards. I'll be sticking this together with a combination of glue and foam squares. The glue I'm using is Bearly Art Glue, but I also like Collall. Both of these glues are lovely because they don't bend or wrinkle the cardstock like some glues can do. The foam squares I'm using are from Dot & Dab, but any foam squares or foam tape will do just fine. These ones are quite small, which is nice for layered designs because you can fit them into any tiny little gaps. But again, any size is fine. If you need to, you can cut them smaller with scissors. Alright, so we're going to move these bits apart and just save that candle flame over to one side so I don't accidentally lose it. And move these apart until I've just got my very two bottom layers, which is the purple for the base of the bookcase and then the white on top. And the white is going to be a foam square layer. So turn it upside down and then add some foam. So I'm going to add quite a bit of this all the way up the sides because this has got to hold the weight of all the other pieces of cardstock on top. And also I want to make sure it's nice and sturdy all the way along this piece of cardstock. If you only put some foam in the corners and didn't put any along the sides, you'll probably find that it's not very stable and it won't give you quite as good a 3D effect. For a similar reason, once I've done all these edges, I'm also going to add a nice amount of the foam inside the design too, to make sure that everything is going to stay flat along these foam squares and there's not going to be any opportunity for the cardstock to bend downwards if there's nothing under it to support it. Make sure you don't put your foam over any of the little gaps, for example the eyes in the ghost, otherwise you'll be able to see the foam when this is all stuck together, which we do not want. And I'm going to try and get a tiny bit of foam square. This is one I've cut in half previously in that gap of the candle, but don't worry if you can't manage that because it is very small. Now I've got all my foam squares on, I can peel the tops off to reveal the stickiness underneath. Now that these are all nice and sticky, I can take my base piece in and then line this up. And once you've got it lined up, gently drop the white piece down. And that way, if you're not happy with it, once it's all laid down, if you haven't quite got it lined up right, then you can pick it up and move it because it hasn't actually stuck yet. So I haven't done that very well. You can see I've still got some of the purple showing here. So I'm going to give it another go. It's nice and easy to pick up to reposition. Just trying not to bend any of the little pieces. Right, let's try again. Might do it on the side rather than the bottom. That is much better. Okay, push down to stick. It's looking really cute already. The next piece to go on top is the pink one, and this one will be glued. This design is really nice to stick together because all the outside pieces are the same size, so it makes it really easy to know where to stick it. You just need to make sure you get the colours in the right order so that they all show through when it's all built up together. Next is the blue piece, which again is glued. Once again, it's right on top. Very easy. Like that. And now, just because I've already tried throwing it off my table a couple of times, I'm going to glue the flame on the candle so that I don't accidentally lose it or throw it on the floor. There. Okay, now continue the yellow with this piece on top. Lots of gluing for this design. And let me know in the comments what you think about pastel colour schemes for Halloween. Is that something you do? Will you be cutting yours to match mine in these little kind of cute colours? Or will you be recolouring it to more traditional Halloween colours? Don't worry though if you are more of a fan of the oranges and blacks and purples and greens. There are lots of those coming up over the next 20 days. Purple next, and another glue layer. Ooh, my books are slightly coming away there. Stick them down. I'm being quite careful when I put the pieces on not to push down too hard because I don't want any of the glue to smush out. Being quite delicate with pushing it down. Next, we've got this grey piece, and now I'm going to start adding in a little bit more dimension and add some foam squares on the back of this one. These bits along the middle are just too thin for my foam squares, so I take some scissors, cut some in half so that I can add some. Otherwise, these will probably end up kind of touching the piece underneath instead of keeping that nice layering to them. But it does mean I've got to work with some teeny tiny pieces. Right, that's done. I can peel the tops off to get all that stickiness out. Right, this one on top. Once again, I'll gently drop it down to check I'm happy before I stick it properly. That is looking good. And then the pink on top to be glued. This creates the outer frame of the bookshelf. There. You know what I've just realised? I forgot about this piece. In my head I had it that was going along the bottom, but that doesn't fit. This should have gone behind here. Let's see if it's still sticky enough, or not stuck enough for me to take it apart. Yeah. So I should have glued this strip behind the pink before gluing it on there. But I can just about rescue it. Day 1 of the countdown and I'm already making mistakes. But You'd never know. Look. Perfect. Oh dear. Alright, so if you're following along with the assembly guide that's included in the download folder, you'll have known that I was doing that wrong. Did you notice? Were you shouting at the video? Anyway, all is well in the end. So that concludes our day 1 of the Halloween Craft Countdown for 2024. If you enjoyed this video, even with my little mistake, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more Halloween crafts. And I hope to see you again tomorrow for day 2 of the Halloween Craft Countdown. Thank you for watching. Bye!